You gave me the chills just now, because as much as this has been a professional and a very business oriented journey for me, it's also been very personal. And the personal side of that has caused me to really show my lack, for lack of better words, or show the areas where I need help and I need to ask for help, and to put myself in those vulnerable places where it doesn't feel good, and it's something that we don't typically like to do. But that is where I have been able to be poured in the most, and to really get the help that I needed when I put myself in those positions to be helped, and when I open my mouth and I ask for help. I'm on a couple of different journeys, right? I'm on the journey of Sure and being a CEO, but I'm also on my personal journey, and somehow all of these things tie in.
One of the things we look at with emerging managers is usually they have some kind of value add to these entrepreneurs. You need to have something. And usually it's around helping them with customers, helping them with go-to-market strategy, helping them with recruiting, helping them with fundraising. There needs to be something that you articulate in your fundraising meeting with us that says how you're getting into these deals. And why it is that you are networked with the entrepreneurs who matter.
I'm a huge fan, not just spending marketing money, because I think anyone can do that. And especially if you have the budgets, you can throw it away really fast. I'm a huge fan of looking for ways how to distribute the product with partnership with potential maybe B2B clients. And this is exactly what we're doing. So for example, we have an employee benefit program running, because right now a lot of companies are trying to reduce their CO2. So to get to the lower emissions. So we're running a program with large companies where they introduce this to their employees. So they basically get an instantly lower electricity bill. And the company actually gets the CO2 credits that they can say, hey, actually collectively as a team, we've done this work, and they will get a virtual power plant and they can see exactly how much CO2 they have saved.
Two things to figure out. One is, how much do you really need to get to the next phase? And then you brought up something important. What type of money do we want? Do we want debt? Do we want equity? Do we want a licensing deal? Do we want a procurement contract? Do we want a grant? Do we want a subsidy? And here's what I'm going to tell you. I cannot stand the word or. Or has done a disservice to the funding community, because people think I want crowdfunding, or I want an accelerator, or I want a loan, and I'm going to tell you the key is and. You have to diversify your funds. I use the idea of a pizza pie. Every single business to me is a pizza pie where we have 12 slices, and those 12 slices represent different funding opportunities or funding streams. So that person needs to be thinking about what is we talk about diversity. Nobody does diversity of finance. Right. Nobody does diversity of funding. What does the diversity platform look like for your business, and how do you leverage that?
You want to be ruthless in prioritization, and you need to scale on what you do the best. And when you take your eye off of what you do the best until you become a brand household name, if you stretch your energies in a direction that isn't, nailing and having impact on your core business strategy, you start to lose track of the prize. And there were times at Swing Dev where we thought, let's do more, let's create an ecosystem, let's get all the developers talking together, and we have like lofty ideas, but we started to see, we're taking our eye off the most important thing, and that is delivering quality. And that really gets back to your company culture. You have to always understand what are the most important things that your company has to deliver on. And when you're outside of that, the answer is no.
I recommend just talking to way more investors than I did. I was very kind of selective and thought that I could convince someone of the value of my idea. And instead I should have talked to 600 people and found the 5 or 6 people who already thought that this idea was a good one before they even met me, right? They were just waiting for someone to come along and be the right person to do it. And then they would have invested much easier. So I was lucky that Michael invested, but I should have been talking to 150 Michaels, not just one. Well, and I think that things like Shark Tank create a sense that the point is to pitch and convince someone, right? And negotiate with them and get you're only going to get 5 chances, right? And you try to get one of them, right? But I actually think the reality is that there are hundreds of thousands of people out there who are looking to be angel investors and put money into an idea and are excited about startups. And your job is to match make with the one that already loves your idea, not convince anybody of anything.
Market research is everything. So we had to make sure that we were competitive. I mean, we weren't lowballing ourselves, but also weren't going so high that it was just impossible. For us, we made sure that we were in a happy medium when it came to pricing. But me being a sneakerhead myself, I knew what people are like, what we would pay, what we're not gonna pay, like what's way just too high for us. So we did a lot of data and polls and talking to my followers and audience. So it's funny that we say that create this shoe, but in reality, my followers were the ones that actually helped to create this, because we did everything based off of what we knew they would want, down to the color, down to the feel, down to the design. So we made sure that the whole way through the process, we were letting them know, hey, this is what's going on. Do you like this? Is it too much? Is it too little? And we ended up coming up with our high tops, and then now our low tops and our slides.
There's a couple of things I think that are super critical for us. And as we've been investing over the last 3 years, that we've discovered more and more is more and more important to us. And one of them is thinking big enough. So it's back to this idea of scaling, really. Do you have a big enough dream? And what I've found with women is we definitely like to put some ceilings on ourselves. We definitely like to think in the manageable, what we think we can achieve in a certain amount of time. And often for investors, that just makes your business too small. So are you thinking big enough? Are you solving a big enough problem? Are you thinking about scale? And are you thinking about, it's not just about what you can achieve, but the team that you can build to achieve it.
Coming out or making decisions to come out, and decisions are plural, and I'll explain that in a second, is a very personal choice. And if someone decides not to be out at work or not to be out at their business, they're not doing anything wrong. We're just all at different places in our comfort with that. So I think it's really important. I get a lot of clients in these conferences that will say, oh, we're now requiring everyone to put their pronoun in their signature because we want everyone to be included. And I say, well, that may not feel safe to someone who is trans, but you don't know they're trans, and now you're requiring them to either lie or put that out there. So when it comes to being an entrepreneur, being a startup founder, and being out, I think at the end of the day, we have to trust our gut. And I think it's also important to sometimes take a few baby steps just to make sure that it is safe.